Talking about Sean Spicer's first press statement today from the White House, for the most part focused on the size of the inaugural crowd, back with the panel, and also gave out, frankly, incorrect information about it. David, you wanted to...
Yeah, I did. You know, as someone who was a senior aide to a president, I still remember getting my ears singed every once in a while when I went in and said, no, sir, you can't do that. This is a bad idea. But I think it's important to have people around you who do that. And so, you know, we should emphasize it is the first day. There are many days to go. But if this president's going to be successful, then the people around him owe it to him to say, you cannot do that. That is a bad idea. And in terms of Sean Spicer, who is a guy who's built credibility in this town over 20 years, everyone here knows him. Yep. To send him out there to do what he did tonight is to basically cripple someone or at least lessen his effectiveness when he actually has to go out and talk about something.
Let me ask you about this, because there's probably a lot of people out in the country watching tonight who say, you know what, this is all just media carping about, you know, how they're treated. It's all hand-wringing. This doesn't matter.
Nor does the size of the crowd, I'm sure they're thinking.
Well, but how do you answer that?
Well, the answer is that if reporters can't trust the information that they're getting from the press secretary, if they don't feel like they're getting real, honest, true facts, then it makes it much harder for them moving forward to do their jobs, and they begin to discount things that he says. And you know, I just think it's extraordinarily important for the press secretary to always be in a position to deliver what he knows to be.
Penny,
well, if I could just say, you know, I know Sean Spicer, most of you do. First off, he is his own man. And I don't know if anybody here has not gotten a tongue lashing at some point from Sean Spicer, and sometimes deserved. And you know what? I have to agree that most people don't care.
Right, but because people don't care, I mean, you can say people don't care about facts, but nevertheless, facts do matter. So whether people care about it or not.
Of course, he needs to have his facts straight. And perhaps, I don't know what happened, but I do know this. Sean Spicer's not a robot. He thinks for himself. He is a very strong man and will be a great president.
It's a tough job.
I think respectfully, we're missing something here that a lot of folks missed for the last 2 years, is that there is an underlying strategy with Donald Trump when he does things. As I think I've said to you before, I spoke to him 3 years ago now, and what you were hearing here about the press, he said personally to me, he really believes this. Now he's president, and first of all, he was a candidate, and I think he had a strategy of going after the press because he felt, and I think everybody here would agree, that the press gets, just in general, gets low marks from the American public. So when we're talking here about Sean Spicer comes out and says something that's factually not true, you've got lots of people in America pointing to the television and saying you're telling us things that are not true.
If I can briefly, one of the things that we haven't discussed in this, and I think that there were many things, and I think it was Gloria who laid it out, there were many things that the President and the White House could have spoken about today. The Affordable Care Act, they could have talked about the fact that of their mortgage rates, the executive order that he signed, which is going to make it extremely hard for millennials to get their first homes. But even, or the Women's March, if you want to talk about unity, I mean, he could have tweeted or talked about that, the millions of people who are in the streets. But even more importantly, the White House lied today to the American public. I mean, we can call it whatever we want to call it. We can say that Sean may have had his facts incorrect. Sean is a great individual. I love Sean. Sean gave me a pair of George H.W. Bush socks that I wear often. I absolutely adore him as a husband and a father. But today the White House lied to the American public. The first day in office, we can call it whatever we want to call it, but that is very, very dangerous, and that undermines one of our very, very credible tenets of our democracy. And you can call it whatever you want to, but today the White House lied.
Most of America believes Sean Spicer over all of you.
Right.
You just need to know that.
But in this case,
his credibility is higher than yours.
Right. But in this case, what he said was actually not correct.
Yeah. Perhaps.
But it was a lie. Do you recognize that?
I don't know what the numbers
This is a very
but I don't
cynical
think he went out there
view. What you guys are stating is a very cynical view.
I'm giving you the honest
He didn't lie.
truth.
He didn't lie. He stood in front of the American people. I love Sean. I really do. He stood in front of the American people and he said something that he should have known wasn't.
He did not purposely lie.
Do you believe that yesterday's inauguration, the crowd size was larger than 2000? 2009 with Barack Obama. Do you believe that?
I don't know, nor do I care.
Well,
and
look-
the fact
look at-
that we're even
right there.
covering
Look at
this
that picture.
But if you look, if you,
but nobody cares.
but the White
that's
but
the
actually,
president of the United States
what's funny is actually the president of the United
Exactly.
States cares.
Right. That's the
and
problem.
Sean Spicer seems to care, and that is the picture. I know from the other vantage point,
You
it
all
doesn't
care more
look like
because
that.
he was sticking
No.
it to the media.
No, we don't care.
I don't care. That's my
Yes,
job.
you
know,
do.
my job
No, we
isn't to
don't.
be loved by the president. My job is to do credible, serious
Oh, you seem awfully
journalism.
upset.
I'm upset. No, I'm upset because the president of the United States, I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I think anybody watching this show knows that I didn't vote for Donald Trump. However, I do expect the president of the United States, I'm sorry, I'm not jaded by reality yet. I expect the president of the United States to actually tell the truth.
Look,
If
he
you
did
want
an
your doctor,
incredible
you
thing.
can keep your doctor, and he lied
Guys-
about a really big thing, and
Guys,
you gave him
he
a
did an
pass.
incredible thing. He won
The
the presidency
presidency.
in an unbelievable way. He should own that and not worry about the crowd
All
size.
right,
We're not
we're going
reporting
to take
it.
a break.
Who cares?
What's
Who
next?
cares?
We're going to take a look at what's next for the Obamas. The former president and first lady are taking.